and welcome to Portfolio Writing course. This is a course where you're going to learn how to take your life experience credit and turn it into college credit. This is specifically designed for those of you who are majored in Board of Governors or the Regents Bachelor of Arts. I am Robin Ambrosi and I'm your instructor this semester. I look forward to working with all of you and helping you complete this process. This is a good opportunity to take something that you've already done and turn it into something else. I think you're going to enjoy the process, and I hope you learn a lot about yourself as well. There's a lot of fallacy out there, and some truth, about portfolio. There's only one way to do it. Well, not technically, but there is a formula that we use, and everybody's portfolio looks different. So we'll utilize that formula. You'll be able to view anybody's I've got several portfolios that students have done that you can come in and see in the office of 1207 in our portfolio non-traditional programs office. And there's also a fallacy that somewhere out there's a book that goes through this and teaches you everything you need to know. Well, truly, the book is the course. The course will give you more information and is the best route because you get constant feedback along the way to help make this a productive and positive process. All right, so as we begin the process, students need to know that you gotta think outside the box, be creative, and look to others to find ideas. Find out what other people are doing. If you hear a fire bell in the background, they're just doing some drills today at the office. All right, who's it for and who's it not for? Well, if you're in your last semester of college, chances are this was not a good choice because you're not going to get portfolio credit because you're going to graduate. If you are in the Board of Governors degree and you've got 15 hours left and you are planning to take it next semester, you probably don't want to do it and you're not going on. But if you are early in your college experience, you've got a lot of courses that you probably could apply for. The chances are the more you've got that you think you can get, the better your outcome. It's a great time to do it. If you just graduated from high school, not a good opportunity. If you've never worked, or maybe you've worked 30 years ago and you can't find anything, it might not be the best option. It's up to you to decide. And we will go through a process, and at the end of that process, you will know if you want to submit a portfolio. All right. Where do you go? What do you do? So we start with a brainstorming session, and this is done through some exercises that you'll be given as part of the assignments in this course, where we'll start to do some brainstorming to think about your hobbies, your life experiences, your family situations. There are many ways to get college credit. You also want to take an opportunity to look at other colleges. What are colleges offering? If they're offering, West Virginia Northern offers a culinary degree, and maybe you are a chef in the making, that might be a place that you want to look for some credit. Okay, so you've done a lot of different things in your life. Maybe it's volunteer, maybe it's paid, maybe it's just family stuff. You know, transporting your kids back and forth to school is not going to get you any chauffeur credit, sorry to say. I wish I could get lots, but that's not going to work. However, maybe you work in fast food, not just flipping burgers, but you've been through McDonald's management training program. Now we're talking. So let's look at both options. Maybe you have a master garden and you happen to know lots of things about gardening. This might be an opportunity to get college credit as well. So think outside the box. How do you get evaluated? Well, first of all, you submit your portfolio to the college in which you intend to seek credit from. For example, if you're going to get credit for culinary, while the portfolio comes to me, I'm going to submit it on to West Virginia Northern, and an instructor that teaches that culinary class will evaluate it for college credit. Maybe you want to write a final exam using every terminology of every word that you know in a particular class. That might be a way to get college credit. You have to demonstrate that you have the knowledge or the course objectives. It doesn't have to come the same way like reading a textbook, but you have to understand that you do know it. The portfolio class, the nuts and bolts. This is the nitty-gritty. Here we go. Hope you've had English 101 and 102. If not, you need to withdraw from the class, because that's going to give you a good, 35% of your grade is basically on grammar. I want you to have it down. You'll submit your documentation through Word. I will grade in Word and allow you to go back in and make changes on your first paper. From then on, you're on your own, and I'm a tough grader, so just know that in advance. You do need to have good computer skills, because you will have to attach documents to our eCampus. You'll have to be able to open up documents. Sometimes they're easy to open up in eCampus, and sometimes they're not. One of my computers it looks like it's going to run forever. When I hit the escape, it comes up. So just be prepared to work through any of those kind of issues. Now it's the time to get organized. Buy yourself a thumb drive, an SD drive, some discs, whatever it takes, and begin to create a couple folders, I say on the desktop of your computer, where you can start submitting things, putting things, organizing things. Not just one folder, maybe a folder for portfolio, and within that folder, maybe one for every class that you think you might try to get credit. And then as you find things, scan them in, stick them in there. You'll know where they are. It'll be easy to pull together when it comes time. The parts of a portfolio, you'll notice in our assignments, you've got the resume, work narrative, education narrative, credit petition, and documentation. This is all the process. Basically, this is the class in a nutshell. You're going to go through these each step by step. I'm going to help you through the process. That's how we make a portfolio. When we're done, your portfolio is going to have 5 different areas listed above. So that's kind of how it works. We'll start with your resume. Maybe you don't have an updated resume. Maybe you've been employed with the same the same company for the last 30 years. We're going to make one. I have given you a couple sites on your assignment sheets and within our eCampus to help you design a resume. I want it to be good. To be quite honest, I am going to grade you on how it looks and how easy it is to get a job. For those of you who are unemployed right now, we're going to go through this. You are going to become more employable once we've completed this process. Because I am telling you, you will look at yourself differently when I start asking the kinds of questions the things that you're not telling me in the resume. Sometimes just that you've worked there, but I need to know more about you, like work ethic and some things, and we'll talk about ways to incorporate those. Education narrative. I want you to note that this is going to be 4 to 6 pages long, not 20. Okay? So once you kind of break the norm, 8, I'm going to accept, but once you get to 10, I'm going to start deducting points on this particular area. This tells us a little bit about your education, maybe why you dropped out of school in the first place and where you ended up and where you're going with it. When I know where you're going with it, it helps me advise you better. It helps me to know what kinds of learning opportunities there might be. This is really so I can help guide you. You'll talk about, okay, what happened in my life that caused interruptions in my education? Why do I want a degree now? You're going to jot down ideas, brainstorm, things you've learned. These are all going to come along, but it does take time, and it happens in the strangest places. From the short resume, create folders and files on your computer and on paper for each. Or one or the other. I don't really care, but keep them together. Jobs, job descriptions, duties. Elaborate. As you get a moment, elaborate on some of the duties. Drawing blood is just a duty. But what does it take to draw blood? There are some other pieces of that I would like you to talk about. If it's, you're a phlebotomist and you draw blood, but what else goes into that? You have to earn people's respect. You've got to be clean. You've got to be in tune with, the newest laws. those kinds of things. So let's think outside the box. Work narrative, continued. You're going to submit work through email, and I will grade you. Don't just write about what you did. I need details. Details. Okay, work narrative. Write it as if I know nothing, because I don't. And when you get real specific and you're working in a lab and you're doing this or that, explain it to me. One lady told me she worked in a lab. I never considered statistical analysis as something that she could get credit for. But when she put all the statistics that she runs every day on each thing that she's doing, wow, it was very obvious. And she did lots of standard deviation and lots of different things, and she's going to apply for credit for that. You know, I would have known that. So you got to think outside the box as well. Okay, work narrative. Work narrative, you know, you're going through, it's going to be longer. I mean, if you've worked for a long time, it may be 15 to 20 pages. What if it's shorter? Well, if you have less work experience, obviously that's going to be the case. But you want as much detail as possible in this particular area. All right, in the final portfolio, it will be a standalone, or it can be. It can also be cut and pasted into particular courses that you're applying for credit for. It will tie together what you've done, where you've worked, your education. We're now to the credit petitions. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we really try to get, we're going to do those petitions to get college credit. This is when, by now, you should have pulled a uniform syllabus for a course that you think you can get credit for. You should pull the course description. It's going to be included as part of it. Those should be in your file. Anything else in your file should be experience that proves that you have the college credit. Job descriptions, a letter from an old boss, maybe a W-2 from the company that you worked for that you got the credit for. Those types of things you should be gathering together. And they all go into one. This gives you the opportunity to put all your management type courses into one particular credit. So apply for just management credit in different areas. You might not be doing a petition for 3 hours of management, 3 hours of HR, but maybe it's going to be that you have 1 hour of each of those at a management level. That's okay too. So those are some things that you need to know. Assignments. Okay, gather those college catalogs, look through them. They're all online. You know, easier than years gone by. You couldn't pull a college catalog. You had to order them from the company. You had to come in here to look at them. Now you can find everything out there. You need to be a good researcher. You're going to build some great research skills through this class. Uniform syllabus. Type the word uniform syllabus on our website at www.wbup.edu. On that, you're going to come up with every course syllabus for every course that we offer. Maybe it's Student Development 101 you can get credit for and you never took it. If you just need credit for the Board of Governors, that would be a great one. So look and see what's out there. All you have to do is prove that you have learning that is equivalent to college level. Writing petitions. This is where we cut and paste. Take our education narrative pieces, put it in there along with our life experience credit, put it in there, our work narratives, and put it in there. And then we begin the documentation process. All right, get ready to pull out those old boxes in the basement that you never clean out. Maybe an old textbook that you didn't complete a class but you've got the knowledge. Or maybe some files where your certificates are, or you completed such and such at a non-accredited college but you'd like to try to get credit for it. This is the time. Don't wait till the week of finals to do this. Do it now. Get that process started. All right, what are you including? An unofficial copy of your transcripts, letters verifying employment, no reference letters. Students may want to draft a letter for an employer that says they work for it, so they only have to sign off. That's a lot easier. License maybe you are a licensed funeral director, whatever. Submit them. Copies of certificates, dozens of copies of art or music or media. If you're trying to get journalism credit and I never see an article that you wrote, chances are I'm not going to give you credit for it. If you're trying to get a photography credit and you never submit any of your photography and tell me what it is, how am I supposed to get credit for it? Those are the kinds of things. If you're trying to get some technical training credit and I don't see a training manual that you've created, might not happen. Maybe not just a training manual, but whatever. If you don't show me the documentation, you're probably not going to get the credit. Put the money where your mouth is. Show me the background. Make your case. We're good to go. The document serves to verify. Remember, part of this process of petitioning and credit is identifying the course, justifying the course, and then verification through the documentation. So, identify, justify, verify. That's an important part of it. What if there's no documentation available? Explain. I will tell you your best option is, if there is, give examples to prove that you know the knowledge. Maybe write document it some other way. Think of another way. This is when we have to think outside the box. What is another way that I can document that I worked for this company? All right, we talked about. Now the actual documentation. Portfolios, as of right now, are done paper form. I also would love for you to create a PDF form. That's because technology is moving forward, and as we do move forward, we need to look at these options to submit portfolio electronically. That might be something we want to move to. So create both. But I'm going to explain it in your portfolio class, but this is how you organize it. Other stuff that you may want to include, standardized awards. If you go to our website and look on the non-traditional pages, you'll see the state standardized awards. If you've had certain programs, or maybe you are a life insurance seller, you can get credit for that. You can include that in your portfolio, but I would also say you can submit that to my office right now and get credit for it. You don't have to submit it in your portfolio. You may want to. ACE credit petitions. We're not going to talk a whole lot about that because we don't use that process as much as we used to. Formatting. You've got one master notebook that has every single thing that you're applying for, and then you have little credit petitions. So inside the master, you're going to have advertising 1, marketing, business, math, whatever. Everything's going to be in that master, and then each class, marketing, advertising, is going to have a little one. And that's what goes to the faculty member to decide whether or not you get college credit for it. 2 copies. We do keep a copy for at least 1 year here in our office. Once you submit it for me for grade at the end of the semester, I'll keep it here. Usually you need to come back and pick it up shortly after the semester's over. But I will keep it for a year. You want to make sure you have all this in case you lose it, you never want to give me your originals. I only want copies, and we want a copy for a backup. Okay, the fee. We've not talked about the fee, but the fee to submit a portfolio is $300. It has to be paid before you give me the copy. Do you have to submit a portfolio when you do this class? The answer is no. This class is going to teach you how to do this. But when we're said and done, and after we've learned how to do it, you may submit 2 petitions for me at the end of class for me to grade, and I will tell you, these aren't worthy of college credit. At that point, you either have to go back and redo them, or just say, you know what, it's not worth it, I'd rather just take the class. Oftentimes, students will realize that they enjoy the coursework, but they really don't have the knowledge base that you're going to get if you take the course. So while they might have some, once they step through the class, they may enjoy that a little bit more. So every small notebook. Every notebook that goes to a faculty member to evaluate will have the petition in it, a resume, the work and education narratives, documentations just for that class, not every bit of documentation. It usually takes writing or submission needs to happen within a year. Submission times are the month of September and the month of May is a good time. Actually, the month of April is a good time to submit. How long does it need to be? It says 8 to 10 pages for a 3-hour credit course. You can make the case. I have students who made like a 20-page. It's a little overkill. I told her to back it down a little bit. All right. So what happens if you do decide to submit? You submit a portfolio. It's $300 and it has 30 hours of credit in it. Now let's make it easy. 10 hours of credit in it. And you submit it out. It comes back to you. All 10 hours have been approved. So the cost was the $300 to submit, whether or not you got credit. And if you got 10 hours of credit, it's going to be at $10 per credit hour to go in your transcript for a total of $400. That's it. Okay, $400. And for $400, you're going to get 10 hours of credit. If we go to the course catalog and look up how much it is for college credit, I can tell you right now that would be a bargain, especially considering you don't have any books associated with that. So that might be something just to know. It is a good deal and worth it if you can do it. All right, 25 points for completing this wonderful portfolio kind of discussion. It opens up, you need to be thinking about it, and it says to submit an email. I'll tell you that basically I like dogs. I have one little dog, his name is Oreo. If you have a pet, don't only submit and tell me that you've read or viewed this, but tell me what animal you have, if you have any animals, and what their names are. Again, it's going to be a pleasure to talk with you and work with you this semester. I am in the office Monday through Friday, basically 8 to 4. Come on in, call me, we'll get together. We have portfolios in the office you can look at. I will review it as we go along. If you come to my office, one thing I do suggest is that you have a question. I am busy, I don't have time for chit chat, but I do want to help you. And so come with your questions, we'll get them answered. I'd love to get to know you better, and I hope this process is a worthwhile one for you. Thank you.